So, hi Caitlin, welcome.
Thank you.
So, I know this is your first time seeing me, so I just wanted to take some time. So, today we're going to spend a little bit of time going over sort of how counseling works and going over the agreement that you sign.
Okay.
So, have you ever done any in or outpatient therapy
No,
before?
no.
Okay, so I sent you a copy of our agreement, and there's a few key points that I wanted to go over. So, did you have a chance to read that?
I looked through it briefly.
Okay, so we call it an informed consent, so that you know what you're getting into. So, a few things that I wanna, go over is that anything that you say to me is private, with a couple of exceptions. So, I won't share your information, with anyone. Will you be using insurance to, pay for your sessions?
Yes.
So, your insurance company will get a copy of your, I will bill your insurance company and they will get a diagnosis, but they won't have access to any of your notes or anything like that. And then, so, we consider this a fairly safe environment. The only times that I would let someone know that there's a problem, there's some limits to confidentiality, and that would be if I thought that you may be looking to harm yourself or others. So does that make sense, or do you need me to go into any more detail
No,
about that?
That makes sense.
Okay, and then a few other things that I wanna go over is that you do have a right to your records. Your records are kept here, and if at any time you wanted your records, you would just request those records in writing. And then, it is important if we enter into a partnership that I will be reserving this time each week to meet with you, if that's what we agree on after today. And then if you don't show up, there would be, you would still have, if I don't have at least 24 hours notice, you would still be required to pay for that visit.
Okay. Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. And just a question on my part, are you coming here voluntarily, or is this court order, or?
Voluntarily.
Okay, so why don't we go ahead and start? So again, I'd just like to get a little bit of background about yourself, and start with just a real question about what brought you here today.
Well, recently, I have been going through a separation with my husband, and it's been really stressful on me. I've had a lot of trouble sleeping, worrying about money, just feeling depressed about the situation, especially having my two kids who are feeling the effects of the situation as well. Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell me a little bit about why specifically you decided to come here? Was there?
I felt like I needed someone else's guidance and insight on different ways to handle what I'm going through right now emotionally, and just also to use it, you as more of from a counseling perspective, going through my issues and providing feedback to kind of keep me going.
Okay, well, I think, first I wanna, compliment you on the fact that you would decide to do this on your own and see that there is a need. Divorce, separation, and potentially divorce is, one of the most stressful situations that anyone can go through. So that I really think, that's great that you've decided to take that step. So I wanted to talk to you, you mentioned, have you ever done any kind of psychotherapy or counseling before?
No, nothing before.
Okay, so you've never seen anyone?
No, but
Okay.
I've spoken with some friends who
Okay.
have done it and they recommended it.
Great, and friends can be a really good support system as well. So do you have any family members that have, sought counseling, or?
Yeah, both of my siblings, my sisters, have sought counseling.
Okay.
For different issues.
Okay, and when you say different issues, do you know why they?
Anxiety.
Okay.
Depression.
Okay. And have you ever had any prior inpatient therapy, or?
No.
Okay. And so, has any of your family members ever had an inpatient?
Yes, I've had my paternal aunt.
Okay. And do you know why she was seeking
That
treatment?
was for anxiety.
Okay. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about your family. So can you tell me a little bit, mother, brothers, sisters, mother, father, and kind of a little bit about your background in childhood?
Yeah, so mother and father both are still married,
Okay,
45 years. And then I have two sisters,
okay,
an older and a younger.
okay. And are they married?
They've both been married and divorced.
Okay. Okay, and then you said you have two children.
Yes.
Okay.
A 9-year-old son and a 6-year-old daughter.
Okay. And tell me a little bit about your husband and his family.
His family is, from a young age, his father wasn't in the picture, so he was abusive to his mother.
Okay.
And they divorced, and his father has never really been in his life.
Okay.
And he has two sisters.
Okay. So on your side of the family, is there any substance or alcohol abuse?
Nothing immediate, a distant relative.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how about on your husband's side?
Yeah, his father.
Okay. And was it alcohol, drugs, both?
Alcohol.
Okay. But you said he hasn't seen his father
Years.
in years. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then let me ask a couple of more questions. So let's talk a little bit about what brought you here. You said that you've been separated for about 6 months. Can we talk a little bit about that? Was it a specific event or kind of what brought you to that point?
I think it was a gradual point. We got married young.
Okay.
And started having kids young and just have gradually grown apart. My husband doesn't want to be separated.
Okay.
But it's just that we're kind of at different points in our lives. He's not as motivated in his career as I would like him to be, and it's just we don't see eye to eye anymore on things.
Okay. So when you say you got married young, how old were you when you guys got married?
We were 22.
Okay. And you had children, right? So how old were you when you had your first child?
I was 23.
23. So you had a baby right off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then, and so when you said he still wanted to be married, so can we talk a little bit about the separation? So you said he would still like to be married.
Mm-hmm.
So you have been the one that initiated the separation?
Yeah, sort of just, like I said, we've kind of just separated a lot over the years in terms of, I feel like when we married young, we had the same view on life, and now we're kind of in different places, and he doesn't want to let the relationship go, whereas I'm no longer in love with him.
Okay. So what would your goal, have you thought about, you said you've been separated for about 6 months, have you thought about what the goal in your relationship is? Are you seeking ways to get back together? Are you pretty committed that you're done?
Yeah, I feel like we've tried in the past. I feel like this is probably the last sort of effort that I'm gonna, I want to get more input from others as well, friends, and then emotionally, I feel like I've been through enough of the thought process and it hasn't changed for so long.
Okay.
That I'm committed to the separation, unfortunately.
Okay. So when you separated before that, it sounds like, did you have some other times that you lived apart? It sounded like you said that you guys have sort of been through this before.
Yeah, so we've been drifting apart for a long time. There was actually a period of time when my children were a lot younger when he lived in an apartment separate from us.
Okay, so we'll talk about that, the kind of feeling of drifting apart in a little bit, but so tell me a little bit about what your circumstances are now. So are you living in the house that you had together, or how's that working with the separation?
So currently living in the house that we were both living in. I own the home.
Okay.
And he's now living in an apartment close by.
Okay. And how, is he still seeing the children? How are you guys getting along?
Yeah, it's been a little tricky. He
Okay.
wants to be obviously around the kids. There are times when he will show up unannounced.
Okay.
Which has been awkward at times, but we don't really have a set schedule in
Okay.
place yet. We just kind of work it out over the phone.
Okay. So, with that, are you legally separated, or you've just living apart without?
We're legally separated.
Okay. Okay. So, and a few things that you said. So you said that you're feeling down and depressed, and you have some financial issues as well, and are worried about your kids. So can you tell me a little bit about that? What, when you say that you're depressed, that's sort of a big word. What does that look like?
Just, it's hard, you know, with the kids especially, just, you wanna be there for them, you know, and be present as a parent, but it's hard to get through day by day with this weight, you know, on my shoulders.
Okay.
I obviously feel some guilt from, you know, wanting to separate, or having separated from my husband and not having had it, you know, that it didn't work out, and the effects on the kids of that, and it all kind of cycles in my brain day to day, and it's just some days it's hard to get out of bed.
Okay. So when you say that, have you, do you have a primary care physician?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen that person?
I have an appointment scheduled to see them.
Okay. And what would you like? Have you considered? Would you like to consider medication, or are you presently on any medications?
Not presently on anything yet, but I was gonna look at options. I don't necessarily want to go on medication, but
Okay.
I'm certainly open to talking to my doctors,
Okay.
given that it's such an issue with my day-to-day
Okay.
life.
Okay. And so again, there's no substance abuse in your family history. You are going to see your primary physician. Is there any other serious hospitalizations, accidents, or you know, family history that would be helpful to go over?
But you know, in my family, there's a little bit of a history on both sides of depression.
Okay. So
I do worry about that.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about that. You said both your sisters have issues with anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And are there others in your family
It
that?
stems into both sides of the
Okay.
family. Yeah.
Okay. And so tell me a little bit about yourself. Do you, can you tell me about your relationship with alcohol? Do you?
It's not frequent. I would say I have a drink maybe once a week,
Okay.
if that.
Okay. And how about any drug use?
No drug use.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Have you ever had any problems with drug or alcohol that you think of?
No.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about your pregnancies. Were with both your children, were they, you know, normal? Any problems?
Before I had my first child, I had a miscarriage.
Okay.
Around 6 to 8 weeks along.
Okay.
Oh,
And then if you just shut that up and then reset it.